know what to do. 50% or more into the tea. 1, 2, dunk your biscuits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Raise them up. And the duel commences.
Tea dueling is the honorable and ancient art of settling your matters of honor on the field of tea. At least that's how I like to describe it. Actually, it's a game that was invented by two gentlemen in London, Dr. Jeff and Tinker. They have a great website called the Honorable Association of Tea Duelists. You can find their rules for their game that they've created. They're very clear that this game is meant for fun and meant to share with people, which I think is tremendous.
All right, very good. Ladies, is there some tea you would like today?
I'm going to try the gambler.
The gambler.
Okay, where I live, where I do tea dueling, which is mostly the western United States, we have a little bit of our own take on the tea dueling rules. Basically, what happens is you have your cup of tea, you have your opponent, you meet on what I call the field of tea or the tea table. Some magic person comes up and asks you, what tea would you like?
What
and
is
they
your
pour your tea.
favorite?
Then doctor their tea with milk, sugar, or lemon. If they're really wild, lemon is for the wild cards. Most people just do milk and sugar. They make their tea up, and then they choose their biscuit. We use the Pepperidge Farm Chessman biscuits. They're the official tea dueling biscuit of the American Society of Tea Duelists, which is an actual thing. And we use them because they crumble in a good way. They give you a little time to play, but they don't leave you hanging for 15 minutes with a really soggy brick-like thing that was once tasty. And then we do a count off, 1, 2, dunk. They dunk their biscuit for 5 seconds. We count the 5 seconds. They pull up their biscuit. The duel has begun. At this point, almost anything goes. They can talk smack. They can tease their opponent. They can use all sorts of crazy facial expressions and body language. I've even had people get up on chairs and do dances. I had one person climb up on the table with his biscuit and like dance around the teapot once. He didn't win, but it was really entertaining. I mean, his biscuit broke in the middle of dancing. So sort of how bold you want to go. But we allow anything as long as no one gets hurt, no one gets touched, and there are only 2 fingers at any time on the biscuit. We let people use whichever 2 fingers they want in our part of the country. Some people insist that it's the forefinger and thumb. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't specify in the original rules. As long as there's not a 3rd finger, no knuckles, no sneaky hand coming in to try and balance the biscuit. It has to be just those 2 fingers pinching the biscuit along one of the edges. I think it says in the original rules like a 1/4 inch away from the corner or something like that. It's pretty specific. So, holding the biscuit now, it's soggy. Your opponent's biscuit is soggy. You only have one way to win. You have to eat your biscuit last, 90% or more, in one big bite. There's no nibbling, there's no breaking off a corner and eating it and pretending like you're okay, no throwing it over the shoulder. It's pretty simple, pretty easy rule, but your opponent's biscuit is sitting there and they could go last if you go too quickly. So you have to sort of convince them to either hold onto their biscuit too long or cause them to start laughing or somehow shaking their hand or getting tired or lose confidence and believe that their biscuit is going to crumble, so that they either eat their biscuit before you or they wait too long and their biscuit crumbles in some guise. And it was sort of in that moment that I realized tea dueling was not only a fun, kooky game, but it was a great community builder. So after that, I was just always game to throw a tea duel, and it turned out to be tremendous fun.